Hello, I'm Peter Kenworthy.
And I'm Jessica Hetty.
And this is Almost Live, a weekly show designed to help you find out who's who and what's what in Telluride and Mountain Village. Jessica, thanks so much for coming on as our special guest host. And you're also playing a dual role because you're a special guest, and I'll be talking to you later. But for now, I'm going to go to our behind-the-scenes guy, Mr. Tim Johnson, who's going to tell us what the lineup is for this week's show. Tim, what have we got?
Thanks, Peter. Of course, Chef Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak, will be cooking up a dish for us. We'll be getting in shape with clips from Yoga with Barbara and Fuel Up. And then we'll be sitting down with a few of our friends from the Telluride AIDS Benefit Fashion Show.
Great. Sounds like a really cool lineup. And we'll have Free Enterprise with Zoe Donnell. And as I said at the outset, I'll be talking to you as one of our special guests.
Thank you. And we're going to have two great Tab retro rides. One is from the Tab 2018 Gala Fashion Show and something from the 2008 Student Show. But for now, let's join Peter and Catherine for the Warren Commission.
Hey everyone, here I am with Catherine Warren, who's going to do her Warren Commission, telling us about music and entertainment in Telluride and Mountain Village. Catherine, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
So nice to have you here, as always.
Thank you.
So are we winding down yet?
Well, it's a deceptive week.
Right.
You almost think, oh wow, there's nothing major happening, but spring break crowd is about to come in. Telluride Gay Ski Week starts this week, so it's not quiet.
No,
long
not
story,
quiet.
long answer to your question. On Thursday night, the Student Fashion Show kicks off the Telluride AIDS Benefit Fashion Week. Not to be missed.
Those students knock themselves out on this production.
It's
really, really cool.
So talented, and they have instruction from the the pros from the adult show, but you wouldn't even know it's a high school show unless if you didn't pay attention.
And they
to
also
the
wrap in a whole lot of education into
Yes.
this event. It's not just about the fashion, it's about AIDS, Telluride AIDS, and
Yes,
what people can do
yes.
to help out.
Raising much needed funds for AIDS organizations here in Colorado and in Africa.
And awareness.
And so tickets are online at TellurideAIDS.org, and that is at the Palm Theater. And then next week, just jumping ahead a little bit, on Thursday is the Sneak Peek, the big fashion show in Mountain Village. And then, of course, the gala next Saturday. But we'll get to that later. Going back to Thursday the 20th, Telluride Gold Kings play their weekly slot at 6 p.m. at the Phoenix Bean.
Local band.
Super fun, super high energy, great place to get a drink, coffee, tea, dinner, all of the above, and enjoy live music. And then at 8 p.m. you can go next door to the Sheridan Old Bar. Lavalanche is playing at, I just said that, at 8 p.m. And then a great band is playing at the Liberty at 9 called Hawthorne Roots. So lots to choose from on Thursday night, and then you just roll right on into Friday, and Tom Nading and his Bluegrass Pickers play at the Phoenix Bean. Again, that's at 6 p.m.
Always
Great.
guaranteed good music.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught my segment with Tom earlier this month, but he has pulled together some of his friends from the weekly Bluegrass Jams at Telluride Music Company, the store that he owns. So if you're a Bluegrass fan, go get your Bluegrass fix. We're just counting down the days to Telluride Bluegrass Festival this summer.
That's a 364-day process.
Yeah. Also on Friday night, the Telluride Dance Collective holds a fundraiser. It's called the Supernatural Bash, and that is at the Sheridan Opera House. You can get tickets and more information online at SheridanOperaHouse.com. But as you may know, the Telluride Dance Collective is a wonderful organization that was started recently, and they offer year-round dance programming to adults in town, which is great. And so go support a great cause. And it's a bare bones budget, and I can't wait for their fundraiser.
Yeah, great
on Friday.
organization, doing all kinds of really wonderful, creative, innovative stuff.
Yes, and so then after the Supernatural Bash, you can go get your hippie jam band dance on at the Liberty with Joint Point playing.
Which everyone needs.
Everyone needs that, especially here in Telluride. It's a pre-Mardi Gras show. Fridays are always a better night to go out than Tuesday, and so that starts around 8 p.m. We'll go throughout the entire night at the Liberty. On Saturday, Telluride Gay Ski Week kicks off. It runs Saturday to Saturday, and there are all sorts of events, but I will highlight on Saturday night, they have a wonderful queer band called Boyfriend playing at the Liberty. And then on Sunday, they have karaoke. And then throughout the rest of the week, it's all sorts of stuff. There's an Alpere ski party. There's drag bingo. There is the white party. And then the off-white party, because the white party is so popular. So you can go online to TellurideGaySkiWeek.com for the full lineup and tickets, and it's so fun.
Very exciting. And
Yeah.
I don't know if there was any slack to pick up, but Liberty definitely seems to have filled in something,
Yes,
right, on the scene.
They have provided that late night music
They
scene
sure
where
have.
you just want to
Yeah.
swing by and grab a drink,
Yeah.
hear the music, and
Yeah.
either stay or go home. That's
Very, very vibrant venue.
Yeah. Also on Saturday night, surf rocker Donovan Frankenreiter plays the Sheridan Opera House. Very excited about that show. Fans probably know his surf rock style because he collaborated a lot with G-Love. He's played Telluride and sold out the Opera House several years. One of the first shows I ever worked at the Sheridan Opera House was Donovan, and that's at 9 p.m. And if his previous shows are any indication, the show will sell out. So go online to SheridanOperaHouse.com now to see if there are still tickets. And then on Sunday, the Telluride Choral Society is doing a really fun event at the Sheridan Opera House. They're covering a lot of modern music, including Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Yeah.
So
And it's a fundraiser for the Telluride Choral Society.
yes, great fundraiser, great cause, great people, and you really just get to focus on vocal talent, which
We have a lot of in this
we
town.
have a lot. I didn't realize it till I went to the Winter Sing, and I was blown away by the vocal talent. So that's at 6:30 at the Sheridan Opera House, and you can go to SheridanOperaHouse.com for more information.
Fantastic. As usual, another week packed with good,
Yes.
fun,
Yes.
fantastic entertainment.
Almost too much fun.
No.
Almost,
Can't
but not
be.
quite.
Can't be. Catherine, thank you very much.
Thanks
As
for having
always.
me, Peter.
And now everyone stay tuned. We're going to go to our favorite local chef, Patrick Legans, for an episode of Wine Geek Food Freak, and then Yoga with Barbara.
Hi, I'm Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak. Today I wanted to show you something with the red bell pepper. Part of the bell pepper family, obviously. Green peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers, red peppers, all part of the same pepper. Just different stages of ripeness. So I'm gonna bake these in the oven, 375 degrees, until the skin blisters off. All right, now I think our peppers are done. I'm gonna grab these little hot suckers. Yeah! All right, they look perfect. Put them in a bowl. I like putting a little plastic wrap over the top. That's gonna increase the humidity, and when they cool down, it's gonna make it really easy to peel. All right, now we're back. I let the red bell pepper sit for about 20 minutes. Now they're cool enough to handle. I'm gonna take the pepper. I'm gonna peel the skin off. Comes off nice and easy. See how easy that is? I like to have 2 bowls ready because I don't want any seeds. All right, now I've peeled and seeded all the peppers. They're all about thumb width apart. I'm gonna take some garlic. I'm gonna thinly slice that. 1 per pepper, basically. Put those right there. Take a little extra virgin olive oil, like that. Nice healthy pinch of salt, and a little parsley. And then I'm gonna mix these up by hand. And I'm gonna do this for about 3 or 4 minutes. When they first named peppers, it was Christopher Columbus actually. And at the time, back in Europe, black pepper was all the rage and garnered a lot of money. So even though this is part of the Caspian family, in fact, a fruit, they still named it peppers just so it would have a better market value. All right, we're coming to a close here. I'm gonna take my peppers, put them right like that. Great for a little cocktail party. Put some of that garlic right on top. I'm gonna take a little parsley just for decoration. Sprinkle that on there. And there you have it, roasted red peppers. Until next time, remember all you need is good ingredients, some care, and a minute of your time, and you can eat like me, Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak.
Hi and welcome to another episode of Yoga at Telluride TV. Today we'll be looking at a specific posture called Upavishta Konasana. And this is sort of counterintuitive because it means upward facing side posture or angle posture, but we're actually starting downward first. So sit down on your mat, extend your legs. don't extend them too wide apart. So you want to sort of be able to grab your shins or your toes comfortably. So this is not like a split. Okay, then you want to keep your sitting bones as much grounded as you can. So don't pivot your pubic bone backwards and upwards. So try and sort of keep a slight, how should I say, connection with your sitting bones to the floor. Okay, as you're ready, we're going to slowly suck in the belly, inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, keeping the hands still in between our legs, bend forward. Stay here. If this is where you are today, no problem. You can place your hands on your shins. If you can reach the outsides of your feet, that is great. Inhale to lengthen once more, and then exhale, come down and touch your chin towards the floor. Stay here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, exhale. And then comes the B section of it. So I'm going to turn around so you can see my profile. So from here, we're going to come up. And if you can, with straight legs, lift them up. Extended arms so the legs come to your hands. Grab a hold of the outsides of your feet. Suck the belly in, tilt the head back, and look up towards the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release. That was Upavishta Konasana. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Becca,
And I'm Ryan,
and we are Team Fuel.
and this is Fuel Up. Today's segment is going to be a quick mobility-based warm-up, something designed to get you nice and warm and also open for the workout ahead. We're going to borrow a few things from yoga, some of which you may recognize. So our first exercise is something called a cat-cow. Becca's going to get into a tabletop position on all fours. This is a spinal movement, and we're focused on moving specifically through the thoracic spine, which is the mid-back. So she's going to exhale, round her spine, really trying to get movement into that spine, space between the vertebra, and then reverse as she inhales. And we're just going to repeat that sequence, and notice how her neck moves with her spine, keeping everything in alignment. I would say do this for about 30 seconds just to get your spine moving.
Wow, that feels really good.
I'm glad. So our next movement is going to be a side-lying spinal twist. So now this is, we just worked flexion and extension. We're going to work rotation at this point. So her top knee is bent, the other leg is straight out, and what she's going to do is maintain contact with the shoulder that's on the ground as she twists open using the arm as the hand opens up. There she goes. Thank you, Ralph. And she comes back. The focus here again is on the spine, not on the hips. So the hips stay locked in place as she moves her spine. For this exercise, 5 reps on each side, nice, slow, and controlled would be about perfect. Third move is another exercise we borrow from yoga called a runner's lunge. So Becca is going to take a staggered stance, both hands on the floor, and this is a nice stretch into her right hip as well as her left hip flexor. You're going to try to make that trailing leg as straight as possible. You might not be able to get it quite like she is, but as long as it's close, you're doing good. Now she's going to do another spinal twist, rotating with the right hand, opening up through the spine, and slowly coming back. 5 reps on each side would be perfect again for this exercise.
Ryan, if I can't keep my back leg strong and straight, would it be appropriate and still very effective if I drop my knee?
Yes, absolutely, it would still be effective. You're still getting the spinal rotation and plenty of stretch in that right hip. So our fourth and final exercise is something called an inchworm. So this exercise is great for the hamstrings and the calves. So Becca's standing with a shoulder width stance. Knees are soft just so they're not completely locked out. She's going to hinge at the hips until her hands meet the floor, and then walk her hands out to a push-up position. And from here, she's going to walk her feet back up into that pike position, and then slowly fold up, engaging the butt and hamstrings, so we're not just using our back. And I would say 5 to 6 of those walkouts is also about perfect.
All of that feels really good. Would I do this before my workout?
Yeah, that would be a great warm-up before a workout, but you could also serve as a cool down after a workout to help you flush some of that lactic acid and just enhance recovery.
Great, I think it's super effective.
Great.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Becca. And we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Fuel Up.
My name's Katie Parnello, and I'm here with Amanda Carlson and Jamie Jackson Jr., and we're the creative team behind the Tab Show this year. We have created a 75-ish minute show of multiple lines that highlight different characters, sort of, that are, we're focusing on the statistic this year that one of the highest groups that are contracting HIV in the past year were 13 to 24-year-olds. And so that's sort of our HIV/AIDS message that we have channeling through the show this year. And with that, we've created different lines, some sexy, some fun, some emotional, to sort of take the audience on a journey of as we tell our story. So guys, thanks for coming today. I just wanted to ask you how you're feeling, how this show might be different than other shows that you guys have worked on. Because Amanda, how many have you worked on now?
I mean, over 10 years now.
Yeah, I think you've worked on it more than maybe anyone.
Yeah.
Definitely more than me, more than Jamie.
Yeah.
And Jamie, how many have you worked on?
In Telluride, this will be my 2nd year.
Nice.
So it's exciting to see even the big difference in going from one year to the next. Like there's some veterans that weren't there last year, and then a lot of new faces this year, which every year brings a whole new energy to it, which is really exciting.
Yeah, one thing I think is so interesting about our cast this year is we either have models who've done it for like 12 years, or we have people who have never done it and actually have never seen the show before. So it's a really interesting mix, and it's actually making for a really cool show.
Yeah.
It is. So how does this year feel different than other years for you guys?
This year feels a little different because I think that we've become so seasoned in creating what we want to say and the storyline. So we've been able to dive into the plot a little bit more and kind of pull on some heartstrings and then make people feel good. And so it just feels like a little bit deeper level of choreography and storyline than past years.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was actually thinking about the first year that I came and did the show, which was 2009, and I remember showing up in Telluride and no one like asked me questions about what I was doing or was curious about what was happening, and I was like, do I just do this? Or which was fun and great, but yeah, I completely agree. Now that like we've gotten through the elementary phases of figuring out how the show works, that we can go deeper and actually have been adding in a lot of things to the show that we haven't in the past. Yeah. How about for you, Jamie? Big differences from last year to this year?
Well, for me, it was crazy because going from the rehearsal process to when Katie brought me to where the show is actually going to be, I was like, are you kidding me? All of this? I said, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. So it's like now coming in this year, knowing what it is, I think I get excited knowing the new people are going to probably have the same reaction I did.
Definitely.
And it reignites the fire because we've been rehearsing for about 4 weeks almost with no days off. So like to get there, it excites it all over again. It's like, oh my God, we're going to do this. So I'm looking forward to that aspect. And then this year, but last year, like Amanda was working and living abroad in Dubai. So now it's like having the dream team back together again and having a creative team where you can work with people who you put your ideas out and it's like, oh my God, everything just works. So moving forward with working with these two are easy. It's like there are no stumbling blocks. Everything's a building block with this process. So
I agree.
Yeah, we've actually had too many ideas, I feel.
We're like, that one over there for later.
Start editing. Yeah. We have a little save box for future shows. Yeah, definitely. So tickets are almost all sold out. I think Thursday we have 8 seats left maybe, and Saturday We just had a few more open up, but if you guys are still don't have your tickets and want to come see the show, as you should, you can go to TelluriteAIDSbenefit.org and order or buy your tickets there. But really, you should do it now, or they might be gone.
Yeah.
And you want to see the show.
Do either of you have a favorite line this year?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see like how rehearsal goes
Right.
today. Actually,
Yeah.
then I'll be able to decide.
It's crazy because last year I was like, could we get this? And Katie was like, yeah, let's just make a phone call, and then it happened. So it's like our set design is like an NDA type of signed agreement, so that way the surprise doesn't get out. So I'm excited to get on there because it's like I'm like a kid in a candy store waiting. So I don't know what it is yet because I'm excited for the stage and then to see what everything looks like up there.
Yeah.
So
we did something very different with the stage this year and tried to, and have now incorporated that into our choreography. So the only hint we can tell you is that there are different levels to it. So in seeing how the show actually, because right now we're doing it all on a floor in the Palm lobby. Yeah, but once we actually incorporate the different levels, it's going to be really interesting to see what the show
when we
looks
see
like.
it 3D, it's really gonna come to life.
Yeah. We also have a lot of amazing designers and local stores that have participated this year. Two Skirts donated a full line of 16 looks that are absolutely beautiful. Heritage and Scarpe and Crossbow Leather are just some of the local stores that are all involved. And I think another thing, as we were talking about, like that we're able to, as we worked on the show more, you're just able to build and build. I think our stylist team that we have this year have been able to help curate the local stores and what they're actually showing on the runway, which actually makes for a really beautiful show. Yeah, so I'm excited to see all of that stuff too.
Me too.
Yeah. And we have some surprise guests that are coming this year, people who you've never seen on the stage before. Yeah, which is going to be super exciting. So just keeping the core aspect of TAB of what it's always been, of local models and local performers, and then just seasoning it with a couple surprise guests. It's going to be really cool too.
I love that TAB is expanding and bringing in the outside to really get the world out, because it's a great thing that they do here with the beneficiaries that they have.
Yeah.
But bringing in some outside, some special guests to really get the word out, I think is going to even take it to higher heights.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really like that you touched on when we talked to the high school kids too, that, as we are trying to highlight this statistic of 13 to 24-year-olds, a lot of the higher contraction rate is due to lack of education. And what's so interesting about high school kids in Telluride is they have the TAB student fashion show, and they really are educated about it, which is wonderful. And so them too being able to talk to people that aren't just Telluride centric, and really get the word out to their peers and their people is an amazing thing too.
And to be able to bring that to their university next year and continue that message, I think it's something that TAB does really well.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. All right, so thank you so much for listening to us chat. This is what we do all day. So.
Yes.
And we hope to see you at the show.
Yeah.
You can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye. Let him hold you tight. You can smile every smile for the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So, darling, save the last dance baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I will never, never let you go. I love you oh so much. You can dance, go and carry on till the night is gone and it's time to go. If he asks if you're all alone, can he walk you home? You must tell him no. 'Cause don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. Save the last dance for me.
Welcome back, everyone. I really love that clip from the 2018 show, which was a great show, by the way. And Jessica, now you're going to have to change hats a little bit.
Okay.
Not that you're wearing a hat. But you're going from your role as guest host to just guest.
Okay.
And thank you for coming on as our guest.
Happy to be here.
And I want to start out, as we often do with our special guests, we ask them what their Telluride story is. So trying to find out, you know, how you came here, why you came here, when you came here, that sort of thing.
Well, my first time coming to Telluride was actually in January of 1992. And I had been traveling and doing some things. I'd been in California at the Oakland Coliseum for Grateful Dead New Year's Eve shows. And a friend of mine was living in Telluride at the time. And so on my way back to my home state of Indiana, I decided to stop off in Telluride for a few days.
That old story.
That old story is I got off the bus and I didn't get back on and ended up living in Telluride until about 1998. At which time I had a young daughter and decided to go back to school. So I moved to Alamosa, Colorado and went to Adams State College and finished a bachelor's degree in history and got a master's in education. Taught and lived in the Vail Valley for about 10 years. And then 10 years ago right now, I made my way back to Telluride and I've been teaching history and government and current events and all kinds of different things, culinary arts, whatever the Telluride School District has asked me to do, I've said yes.
Yeah,
so
good.
That's the story now.
And it's been a good gig, right?
It's been wonderful. I love it. It's actually, when I left Telluride, my plan was to go to school and come back and teach high school in Telluride. I didn't know there was going to be a 10-year interim in the Vail Valley at the time, but when it comes down to it, I did what I set out to do.
Perfect.
I'm really happy about that.
Perfect. And in addition to being a very dedicated teacher here for those years, you've also been involved with the Telluride AIDS Benefit for many years. I'm not sure quite how many, but you're on the board, and you also have had a very close involvement with the student fashion show. So can you tell me a little bit about the history there, how that happened, and then...
Sure. I'll just say that, I was working actually at the Sheridan Opera House back in the mid-90s when the Telluride AIDS Benefit fashion, first the dance-a-thon with Candy DeGraw and raising money for Robert in the very beginning happened, and then was working at the Opera House when the first fashion show happened, really close friends with Erica Klum and Aaron Smith and a lot of the people that were involved in those early days. And so I knew about the show, and then I left Telluride and did things for quite a while, and when I came back in 2010, I think, my older daughter, her name is Iris, auditioned and was accepted as a student in the student version of the show. And at that point, I told Sandy McLaughlin that I'd be happy to help cover rehearsals once in a while. And I didn't know that 10 years later that I would have, become the new, producing sort of facilitator of the high school show. But that's kind of how it's gone. And a few years ago, I was invited to join the TAB board as the liaison with the high school student show and the education program that we have every year, and that's how it's been going.
You mentioned the early days and that first show at the Opera House, and I was at that show too. I was sitting up in the balcony, and the runway came out
over the seats,
and it was one of the coolest things that I'd ever seen at that time. It
Me
really
too.
was.
Me
I
too.
was so blown away that this little town, hidden away in the mountains, could produce this kind of just a spectacle. It really was.
Yeah, the talent, the clothing, the artistry.
Costumes, the artistry, all of it. So one thing I wanted to say was that what I think is so cool about the student show is it gives these students this opportunity that's kind of multidimensional. Because in addition to finding out what it means to be in a show, to be on stage, to be in a fashion show, they're also being educated about AIDS. And I think that's really cool. And it puts them to my way of thinking, it just puts them a step ahead of most kids out there at their age.
Well, this is actually one of the main messages that we've used, and basically our show will happen this week on Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then the following week, the week of the gala event, some of TAB's main beneficiaries will come and visit the high school. These are people from Brother Jeff's Community Center, Colorado Health Network's Western Colorado AIDS Project, and CHIP, the Children's Hospital Immunodeficiency Program up in Denver.
Who are the beneficiaries of the money that gets raised through the fashion shows, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, some kids and I took a field trip with also Telluride AIDS Benefit Executive Director Jess Galbo. We loaded up a little school bus and drove up to Denver and visited the beneficiaries.
So cool.
So now there are a certain number of students that are in the show that have a much closer relationship to some of the people that we're earning money for, and I think we have this phenomenal day where the people come and have a whole school assembly, and then breakout sessions in the afternoon where they teach them about sexual health and risk-taking, how to prevent STDs, especially HIV and AIDS, and just have an open discussion about how to keep themselves healthy and safe, and how to communicate, and how to do all kinds of things, and also how to know about some things, very serious things that are happening in other places, impact of poverty, on risk-taking behaviors, and how community outreach groups are helping. And we actually have another really cool thing that's been happening for about a year that involves kids that aren't really in the fashion show. One of them actually is this year, Ryder Johnson, but Ryder Johnson and a few other people are part of a computer coding club that are now trading coding challenges with one of the high schools that Intel helped us set up a computer network and computer stations in the Kingdom of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland in Africa. And there's so many different branches and things happening.
It's so cool. And I love to see that student involvement. Ryder Johnson was actually part of a tech class that worked with us a couple of years ago and produced a video that was really, really fun. So on average, or typically, however you want to put that, how many students are involved each year in the student fashion show production?
Well, I think that we've had years with as few people as maybe the mid-30s, 35, 36, but this year we have like 65 students involved.
And so they're playing roles some behind the scenes, some in front of the scene?
Most in front of the scenes.
Most in front of the
we
scenes.
have wonderful Rowan Warren, who's an extraordinary tech guy that I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
And
Claire Shaver, who are two main behind the scenes people. But almost everyone else is an intern, a director, a choreographer, and 45, 50 models, volunteer models, joining the show this year.
So if you could you just tell us a little bit about this year's show, what you see as distinguishing it from other years, or what you're most excited about, or any particular challenges? Just help us understand
this year may be like the finest show so far, which I think I may say that every year, and I may keep saying it into the future. It's a really fun thing to say. But Danica Pettit is the director, and Lucy Wesson is the choreographer, the main ones, and they're assisted by a team of interns this year. I think we have 5 at least, and we have other people that are involved. Kat Belode and Grace Ringstad are helping with video production and a slideshow and all kinds of other things. And then we have I would say a relatively dance-heavy show. 2 of the interns are Sophia Watkins and Bella Galbo, who are both really accomplished, wonderful, graceful dancers, and they've brought a real dance flavor. So it's a combination. Usually the show is really just sort of dependent on who the creative people are. But we have an amazing set, we have amazing lights, and it's so professional. I think people will really be impressed.
I hope you can put some tickets aside for me.
It certainly will.
All right. Well, listen, Jessica, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the show. Sounds great. And right now, we're going to go to a retro ride clip of the 2008 student fashion show. Really, really cute number. I think you're going to like it.
Okay, look forward to it. Thank you.
All through the morning rain I gaze, the sun doesn't shine. Rainbows and waterfalls run through my mind. Soon as my eyes see the sunshine. All through the morning rain I gaze, the sun doesn't shine. Rainbows and waterfalls run through my mind. Soon as my eyes see the sunshine.
Thank you, and here we are at our free enterprise segment where we have local businesses enter, tell us a little bit about themselves and their offering, and we give them a prize, some Telluride TV swag. So on today's show, I have Margaret Rinkovich, who has a wonderful gallery, Rinkovich Gallery, the one and only gallery we have here at the town of Mountain Village, so we're very, very lucky to have her. So, Margaret, tell us your story. How did you come up to the Mountain Village, your art background? I just want to hear it all.
Well, I think I've always been an artist my whole life, but I started painting about 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was in art history for a long time. I was doing a lot of volunteer work at museums in California, and then publications and things like that.
Wow.
And then came to Telluride about 20 years ago, about the same time, and was showing in the town of Telluride at different venues, and then a space became available in Mountain Village.
Yes.
And I decided to take the bull by the horns.
That's so great.
Yes. And open my own gallery.
Yes, and your gallery is beautiful. And you have a quick little saying, because it's all your art.
Right.
It's not your typical gallery where you showcase other artists. I mean, when you walk in, it's all your pieces, which are absolutely stunning. And I love that we just recently did a merchant spotlight tour, and we got to hear a little bit from Margaret, so I have a good background. But I love that you have different inspirations, and like any true artist, you go through different styles.
Absolutely.
So what are you focusing on now? What's your style now?
Well, I'm an abstract expressionist, and I have been looking back at the history of abstract expressionism in the U.S. And how important it was in the 40s after the war. And I've kind of honed in on different artists that I really wanted to drill down on, specifically Willem de Kooning, Joan Mitchell, just to name a few. And I just wanted to get at exactly what I love about abstract painting and where they were going with it.
Yes.
So the series that I have up right now kind of explores that.
That's beautiful.
Yes, and I'm exceedingly proud of it.
Yes, I am too. If you haven't seen your gallery, go to the gallery because it's a beautiful space, but your art is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And I know you're exploring jewelry now as well.
Yes.
And you have a few other offerings that you're...
I do. I, along with being an abstract painter, I've been a collector of traditional tribal African art. And those two really go hand in hand with one another. The African art was the inspiration for a number of very early modernists, and I love being part of that continuum, those two things. And I think my favorite thing about tribal art is that you do not know who the artists were.
Right.
So there isn't a Picasso signature on them.
Right.
So you have to just take them as they are and understand the integrity within them. And I find that it's, for me, it's what's possible in art.
That's beautiful.
And it inspires me every day.
That's really
great.
great.
And when I opened the gallery, I was trying to help people kind of understand those two concepts and to exhibit that.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so to finish off, what do you see the gallery going into the future? What other offerings, or what are your hopes?
You know, since I am both the creative director and the management, I certainly have the flexibility to do whatever.
That's so true.
And I'm so excited about what that could be.
Yes.
If for some reason I'd like to take a break from painting, I'd be happy to have other artists in there, other sculptors. So I don't know, but I'm so excited about what that will be.
Possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Oh, well, thank you so much.
My
of
pleasure.
course, we promise that you get a prize.
All right.
So there's your Telluride TV coffee mug.
Right on.
Yeah. And really, truly, everyone, highly encourage you to go see Margaret Rankovich's gallery here in the Mountain Village. Thank you again, Margaret.
Thanks, Zoe.
Hi, we're back. Thank you so much, Zoe and Margaret, for that free enterprise piece. Well, Jessica, Almost Live is
almost over. But if you missed part of the show, never fear. You can watch it every day, morning, noon, and night on channel 1304 in Telluride or online worldwide.
Yeah, you can come onto our website, TellurideTV.org, and you can watch whatever we're programming on the channel. You can stream it, or you can go to our video on demand files, our archive files, and see all kinds of things from the past. We have a really rich repository of old community content. So old student fashion shows like we saw today, and old gala fashion shows like we saw today. We've got interviews from Telluride Film Festival and from Mountain Film. We've got theater pieces from Telluride Rep and from the youth theater program here. All kinds of really wonderful stuff. So check it out online, TellurideTV.org. But for now, we're going to say goodbye. But before we leave, Jessica, I want to thank you so much for coming on and helping us do the show. You're a great host, and you were a great guest. And
Thank you so much for having me.
Really enjoyed being here with you.
Thanks, Peter.
So tune in again next week, guys.